Good morning, everybody. It's a Friday morning, and it's a real privilege once again to be able to share with you this video, some thoughts for the day. And we really are praying for you, especially those that have gone nearly 10, 11 months now, isolated, living on your own, either as an individual, as a couple. And we're just praying because that can impact your motivation and doing things in the day that just really encourage and lift your spirits. And our thoughts and prayers are with you for the whole church. I want to start today by reading from Matthew 5 verse 10, and you can read this with me or just listen to it as I read it to you. So Matthew 5 verse 10 says this: "Happy are those who are persecuted because they do what God requires. The kingdom of heaven belongs to these. Happy are you when people insult you and persecute you and tell all kinds of evil lies against you, because you are my followers. Be happy and glad, for your reward is kept for you in heaven. This is how they persecuted the prophets who lived before you." Now, I want to give a little bit of a health warning because I'm going to share a story from my childhood, and I know I've shared them all before, but bear with me, please. Because you'll know that when I was a teenager at high school, I wasn't too ashamed of sharing with people my faith and what I believed in. In fact, I think at that time my mission was to convert the whole of the high school, if not the kids in my class. And for that, I got a bit of a nickname, and it was Mark the Monk. Now, seriously, they thought I was going to buy myself a pair of brown sandals, buy some brown clothes, and shave out a circular piece of hair on top of my head and go around chanting for the rest of my life. Now, on most occasions, that was a bit of a laugh and I could take it and I joined in with them. But on occasions, it was quite upsetting. And I remember my youth leader at that time sharing with me the last of those verses, which basically say that people do these things because they've done it to all the Christians that have gone before us. And because of that, we'll have a reward in heaven. And I found that a real encouragement. Now, last night I met with the mission team and we spent some time praying. And we prayed for all our mission partners, but we particularly looked at the work of Open Doors and the Persecuted Church. And I want to read something from their website. It says this: "Imagine queuing for the supermarket, and when it's your turn, you're denied entry because of your Christian faith. Or imagine you're an NHS worker and you've been denied PPE because of your faith alone." Now, I recognise that 2020 has been a difficult year for all of us, but even more so for those of our persecuted family around the world. They've faced excruciating separation and isolation, being denied the basics because of their faith. Often they're in the last line for any essential aid or medical treatment, or even help with provisions of such a things like PPE or COVID-related help. And this is just a snapshot of what is the reality of our world at this time. Overall, there's been a 60% increase in the number of Christians killed because of their faith. Countries like Africa, China, and Asia, they're putting in surveillance to ensure that Christians are persecuted and left out. Well, I want to say there's been some good news this week in the newspapers. There's been several articles about this issue of the persecuted church. Open Doors have launched a new scheme called the World Watch Scheme, where there's 50 countries where persecution of Christians is on the rise. And this week, over 90 MPs met to see the launch of that. So I would encourage all of us just to pray for the persecuted church. Pray for our country, that we as a government, as a parliament, would pray for them, would put laws in place and raise awareness of what's going on in the world. But Maybe if we've got time today, we could go on a bit of a journey. Maybe we could type into Google verses where it talks about persecution and do some research, get a concordance, look a bit wider and find out more about it. Maybe you could go onto the Open Doors website, and I've put a link in the news from the study, and watch some of their videos or some of their testimonies. But not that it just becomes factual, that it would lead us to pray and rise up and speak up for those that are persecuted because of their faith. I can't imagine being denied entry to a supermarket because I'm a Christian. But folks, that's the reality for some people in our world when they wake up today. Let's raise up our hands in prayer for these people, lift them to our Saviour, that they might find strength for whatever they face in the future. So we're looking forward to gathering online on Sunday. Billy is going to be speaking. It's the second in our series on lessons from the wilderness. We'll also be sharing communion, and so come prepared for that. But in the meantime, we are praying for you. If we can help in any way, please do get in touch. We're here for you. Stay safe. Look after yourself. We love you very much. Have a lovely weekend. Goodbye.